What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Three Pyramids Network with your host, the Ignorant Eclectic Mad Genius. And today we are checking out Omizi's channel. And he is talking about Akaash Singh addresses the humiliation from his wife, basically. Bro, I'll be honest with you, before I get into the rest of the spiel and we click this, I was a big fan of Akaash. A big fan. But just like how that whole situation like planned out and how he didn't, mind you, before all of this, when he had the whole conversation with Myron and Fresh and Fit Boys or whatever, how he was talking about uh marriage and blah 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 blah. I was like, bro, hey, I stand 10 toes on it. You know what I mean? Be what you be about. Talk what you talk about. And then his wife basically embarrassed him in front of everybody. It just it destroyed any faith in the way that he didn't take care of it. In my viewpoint, it kind of messed me up on like how I view him. It kind of hit me like the same thing that Will Smith is dealing with his wife. It changed my entire viewpoint on them.
Happening. She goes, you know what, baby? God knows what's true. We know what's true.
That's right.
What else matters? Who cares what anybody thinks? And I
Yeah.
was like, I care. What are you talking about? There's a side of me that's like, maybe it's a short guy thing, but I really identify with like Kendrick Lamar, where it's like, if we want beef, I'll destroy everything. I'll burn everything.
Hello?
Down. There's a little part of me that's
But no,
pre-therapy.
we don't want
that's
that.
like, that's like, I don't care about the money. I don't care about whatever. You came at my wife. Let's just burn it all down.
Every once in a while, I like to tap back into videos and past characters that we've covered on this channel. And Akaash Singh is somebody that is just
Bro, he looks
still
bad.
to this
He looks
day
older.
going through it. He's fallen into the same lane as Will Smith. His relationship went public with his public image, and he got swallowed into the humiliation of it all. He was talking about being attracted to the friend, not really wanting to get married, and a whole bunch of other stuff that even Akaash can admit embarrassed him. And for whatever reason, I don't know why some of these
Bro, she said and mind you, the girl that she was on that podcast with, that she was talking to, wasn't really her friend, and they're not friends to this day. Like, after all this happened, they stopped doing the podcast, they stopped being friends. She was telling her that she wanted to switch with her and her dude, like basically do a swap. And she was talking about how big her dude was. She was like, I bet it's X amount of inches, da 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 da. I bet you was thick and girthy. Ma'am, what do you mean?
public figures continuously go through these same humiliation rituals on the internet with their significant other over and over again. If you're new to this and you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It goes
Shout
a
out to the
long,
old
long
boy,
way.
old
We're
music.
almost at 150,000 subscribers. We'll probably be there by the time maybe you watch this video. So thank you for joining us. Whew, it's been a long journey. Now, back into the video. The problem with the whole Akaash situation is that we've seen this before. This is very, very much like the Jada and Will situation. The reason why we denounced that J. Cole lyric of needing that Jada and that Will love. For whatever reason, these celebrities like Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith, Akaash Singh and his wife, when they dabble into the lifestyle / podcasting space, they feel the need to put their private effects of their relationship on Front Street. And if you remember correctly, the audience stopped seeing Will Smith as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or the guy from I Am Legend or Ali from Muhammad Ali. He became this symbol for public embarrassment, something that even went mainstream up until Will Smith slapped Chris Rock for disrespecting his wife. But now we're seeing
And that, I understood why he kind of slapped him after the fact, because I guess Chris was in his wife's DMs or some shit like that. Well, I don't even know if they were together. I'll be honest with you, but still, the fact is that he was in the DMs, and I guess her and Chris were close, even though that her and Will are married. Whatever.
that same thing happen for Akaash.
She and I have a relationship where it's like, I don't give a f what you say, she can go. What I say, I have her location, she has my location. Every time, if you look at 90% of her TikToks, they're on our couch. Like, she don't go nowhere without me. So I'm like, whatever you say, I don't care. I know you. But you just ran with it and made it a thing. And at first, it really like me up.
I wanted to ask you, how did you really feel? Because like I can never gauge, because you are a comic, you're so good at this, you do have thick skin.
Yeah.
I've seen, well, like
No,
me,
he
for the
doesn't.
most part, the success that you have had. I don't know. I don't feel like things really phase you like that, so I couldn't gauge
No, I was
if it
phased.
really
I was
hurt.
deeply phased.
But what hurt you about?
It's just they're saying it about your wife, and I think the stuff they say about me will make me insecure. But when you're saying this about my wife and you're calling her all this vile stuff, people were messaging my mom and her mom saying she's a whore.
bro, his wife did it to herself and you. Like, and she's not a comedian, so nobody was gonna ever take it as she was a comedian. Come on now.
She's dad was like, yo, this is crazy how far this has gone. And everything she gets said, y'all are chopping up. And I've probably done this with 1,000 famous people, so I don't knock the people who did it.
Sure.
But it did let me, I think God does everything for a reason. And I think for me, this was God's way. Because this is how I found out I had some level of fame.
This is recent.
Yeah.
So you're just realizing you're famous.
I didn't know, because people would be like, what was your I made it moment? I was like, I haven't made it. What are you talking about? And now it's like, well, when the whole world called my wife a whore, I realized I'm doing okay.
That you made it.
Yeah, for the signal of you being famous being that your wife is getting humiliated, disrespected, and called a bunch of names on the internet, and you too as well by being her partner, I think that that's a little bit of a weird thing to say. Akaash became no longer just a comedian on the Flagrant podcast. He literally became the podcast Will Smith, somebody who was an easy target, a punching bag for what it's worth. And I will honestly say, continuing these, talking tos on these different people's platforms and being this open about it still is not the way to go about doing it. I'm sorry. It's not. I think one pivotal mistake that Akaash makes when he's addressing this situation on Hot 97 is the fact that he acknowledges that these public reactions matter to him. While his wife, who hasn't been a public figure before, and for what it's worth, doesn't seem to continue on to be a public figure since, he still has to live in it. He still has to sit in it. He still has to appear visibly every single day. And honestly, it's eating him up.
This is where I don't like, I wish people knew, and I said this to her before she started doing social media. She's the most like multi-dimensional person I know, where she pops off, says crazy, says disrespectful, but also is so spiritual, so grounded, and so so sweet, and so like she has so many facets to her. She said on like the first week this is happening, she goes, you know what, baby, God knows what's true. We know what's true.
That's right.
What else matters? Who cares what anybody thinks? And I was like, I care. What are you talking about? Are you crazy? But she just kind of kept that energy. She was like, whatever y'all think about me is whatever y'all think about me. I know who I am. God knows who I am. That's it.
And that would make sense. She doesn't have to face the same realities of Akaash. She's not, I don't know, seen on one of the largest podcasts once or twice a week, going on tour, going on these press runs, having a visible face on social media. She can move past the noise, but he can't, because his job is to be visible. I wonder if that conversation was during him saying, hey, these things actually do affect me. I don't like when you say these things. They have a weird relationship dynamic. They probably should go to therapy. They need to take this off the internet, full stop. Now, I'm sure Akaash's wife sees DMs. I'm pretty sure she gets messages, and I'm sure she sees some sort of hate comments, but I think that it's a different level. Being somebody whose livelihood isn't tethered to social media, she's not constantly scrolling for the comment section to see whether people jive with this or not. She's not seeing the 10 out of 10s on YouTube. She's not seeing the mass amount of dislikes. And hell, most of the messages most likely stay in the requests on Instagram and Twitter. And also, with that being said, she didn't build some sort of image. She didn't have a brand or an identity to protect, but Akaash did. And I think that's what's really messed up, is that she didn't take that into consideration at all when she said some of the most outrageous things on the podcast last year. And now Akaash, somebody who has spent hard time building that image up, is now having to face the reality that this is actually pretty impactful on his life.
God does everything for a reason. And I think for me, this was God's way, because this is how I found out I had some level of fame.
This is recent.
Yeah.
So you're just realizing you're famous.
I didn't know, because people would be like, what was your I made it moment? I was like, I haven't made it. What are you talking about? And now it's like, well, when the whole world called my wife a whore, I realized I'm doing okay.
That you made it.
Yeah, that's how I found out. But I think it was just like, I'm watching them say this about her. Y'all don't know her. You're doing it off a 2-minute TikTok. Right. I know this woman, and I read people pretty well. That's kind of like what most of my clips are about. Right. I'm not that big of a moron that a girl would lie to me for 14 years or whatever, 10 years, about being a virgin, and I would not even bother watching her TikToks to find out she talks about it. You know what I mean? Like, none of this, how are we believing this? I couldn't understand it. But I think it was God's way of telling me, you always say you want like a happy, healthy family. You need to know what comes with this fame thing and decide if you really want it. And I realized I don't really want that. I want to be the best stand-up comedian I can be, hopefully ever. All that other shit, I don't care. If we go to the Met Gala, she probably made me. I don't give a fuck about walking on a stupid red carpet. Your pick, like, I don't care about any of that.
Yeah.
Akaash kind of hints at it unconsciously, but the fame that he has now acquired is both because of his wife in her comments and his platform that he's built over the past couple of years. But now that image that he has of himself and of the life that he was trying to build has completely changed. Not by ending his career or making some sort of pivot, but by replacing his identity. He used to be known for his comedy, his chemistry on this big major podcast platform, but now the first thing that people think of when they see him is, oh snap, is that Will Smith? The Will Smith of the podcast game? The weakness, the embarrassment, and a bunch of different simp jokes. That's real damage though right there. Now I watched this entire interview, and the more that he tries to joke through it, it just feels like he's coping. It feels like he's less confident about himself. The more that he goes to explain it, it sounds like he's trying to survive the narrative or find a new way out or trying to make sense of it. But I'm here to tell you, Akaash, the internet doesn't reward that. It turns it into more and more proof like we're doing right now. And let's be clear, the only reason why I'm doing it is because this is objectively an embarrassing moment. Something that should have been stopped and nipped in the bud well before it spiraled out of control, and something that should not be continued to this day. I understand that there's this level of embarrassment that comes to you when people see you on camera, or when you talk about relationship things, or when you just speak about your wife in general. But furthering the conversation is truly not the way to go about this. And now every time we see Akaash, at least for me, I can only think of Will Smith, not from the success that they've had, the skills and talent that they've acquired over the past couple of years, put them on display, marketed them very well, and ultimately became successful in their own respective rights. But the first thing that I and many others think of every time we see them is their relationship. And more specifically, not the relationship in and of itself, but the public humiliation that comes with the relationship. To this day, Jada Pinkett Smith continues to say things about her relationship dynamics with her and Will Smith that have people questioning, why are we hearing this, and why does it seem like her job is to publicly humiliate this man?
I think every summer, all the reports would come out that me and Will were getting a divorce. And Chris he thought that we were getting a divorce. So he called me and he was like, hey, basically he was like, I'd love to take you out. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, well, aren't you and Will getting a divorce? And I was like, no. I was like, Chris, those are just rumors. He's like, oh my, he was appalled. You know what I mean?
Now, also in that moment, two things. As I'm moving forward, I'm also moving backwards. Because of what I realized at that moment, I got in my martyrdom bag. And what that is for me is,
bro, she's so toxic,
I hadn't
bro.
quite learned how to love myself and not leave Will on the side of the road. And I hadn't learned how to love Will and not leave myself on the side of the road. And in that moment, because I felt so bad that he was in this situation, I decided I'm gonna love you, Will, and I'm gonna leave myself at the side of the road. And I wouldn't have known that that was an aspect that I needed to heal if it hadn't been for my kids, my mother, my friends were so hurt that I had done that to myself.
For a large part of the public, they stopped seeing Will Smith as, the guy from Bad Boys or Men in Black or Pursuit of Happiness or King Richard. He left that movie star identity when the relationship became public. Now he has transitioned into the embodiment of public embarrassment. And even though it's on a smaller scale, Akaash Singh is basically the same thing.
Did y'all ever have an orgy together with your husband? Priya, I'm actively trying to have an orgy because this couple is so fucking good looking, and you haven't seen Nav yet, but wait till you fucking see him. His body goes crazy. His face card always slays, never declined. And it's kind of weird because I'm talking about your husband.
No, I kind of look at it, but I'm like, us for it? Okay, maybe.
I just know that Nav's dick is like at least 10 inches.
Gold digger?
Yeah. Because I invested low and waited for it to go high.
You're a gold prospect.
Yeah,
that's not a gold digger.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're like a, what is that? You're like a hedge fund manager.
Yeah, you're like Akaash with Bitcoin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like,
She bought much lower than I did. she bought at the bottom.
Akaash wife made you want to not be married? What happened, bro? You want to be...
Yo, when you locking it down, yo? When you locking it down?
What happened,
And I'm never gonna tell the world. I ain't going through that shit. That shit is crazy.
What happened?
I didn't realize we had Akaash's picture.
Can I say what I want to say?
Of course. This is what
All
Brilliant
I
Idiots
want to
is about.
say is simply this.
Keep your wife off the internet.
motherfucking internet. Why does your wife have a microphone in her face? Do not allow your wife to start a motherfucking podcast, bro.
Yes.
Both Akaash and Will had their images changed, not by something that they did explicitly, because for what it's worth, we can go down the deeper, darker rabbit hole about how you select your partner and what type of stuff that you need to set as far as boundaries go in a relationship, but I'll save that for a different video. Both of their partners exposed intimate and private details about their relationship. That's what made them change. This is not really about the old clips that we've seen from Akaash Singh, which, albeit, are very, very, very much embarrassing. But this is about what it turned him into. I think for what it's worth, he should probably stop all conversation about him and his wife whenever he does any sorts of interviews, jokes, or whatever the case may be. Because it seems as though every time he speaks on it, things just spiral out of control. And it doesn't seem like he's come to, real serious grips behind it. It seems as though he's still battling and dealing with the public embarrassment that he went through, and rightfully so, but that's why he should definitely stop bringing it up. Because what he's turned into today is not something that I think he's wanted his identity to be, or what he wants it to continue to be going forward. Although the ship has probably already sailed on that one. But this is why the Will Smith comparison matters. Both of them became bigger than the actual relationship drama. Both of them became symbols. Those symbols being of public humiliation, how to find a good wife, how even me as like somebody who is on the internet navigates how I deal with my relationship with my fiance. Because I'm gonna tell you something right now. As soon as I saw Akaash and his wife have those sorts of conversations on the internet, me and Danielle immediately had a conversation. I wasn't letting that happen, and she's not that type of person, but this was just something that needed to be talked about because I never wanted to go down that rabbit hole. I didn't want to end up liking Akaash because once you go down that path and once the internet turns you into a symbol, it's really hard to go back to just being yourself again. Now we'll start using you like a verb and saying, oh, he got Akaashed or she got Akaash.
Bro, that would be wild. All right, bro. Let me know down in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on this? Do you feel bad for Akaash? Do you not feel bad for Akaash? Are you an Akaash? Male or female? Let me know in the comments down below. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, tell a friend, man. I'll catch you on the next one, man. Peace. Oh, you know what you got to do. Hit me with that super hype. I appreciate you. Please. Like a crack baby in the 80s.